Hey guys, how are you? So the other day I shared six foundational principles: sleeping, hydration, nutrition, breathing, moving, and thinking. So today I'm going to go a little bit in more specific just with nutrition. So what I'm going to talk about is nutrition. There's a lot of information out there about nutrition, macros, carbs, plant-based, carnivore, a lot of different types, paleo. We're not going to go into it. But a good method I apply that I think is applicable for everyone, no matter your specific needs, is fasting. I think fasting is a good way to give yourself time with less consumption. I think as Americans, we consume too much throughout the day, and even all over the world. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is just not necessary for sustainable state of life, but we're so used to eating that we're always used to eating it. Now, I train all the time, I eat healthy, but I usually fast a lot. I usually fast most of the day. I try to eat at night. Now, sometimes I'll eat earlier in the day if I need to, if I'm working out a lot or training twice. But I feel like fasting works for me. Like small hour windows, maybe you fast for like, some people do 16 and 8. That's your traditional intermittent fasting. But if that's not enough for you, you can cut the window smaller. You can do 20 and 4, or you could do say 18 and 6 or 19 and 5, any combination you want. But if you try to fast more, it'll consume less. You can always have water, add a little salt to it if you feel like you're getting lightheaded. But I recommend that fasting is a good way to take nutrition into your own hands. You know, just eat less of the food you're eating, and if that isn't working, then you can tailor your diet after that. But I think just with fasting and cutting your window of consumption down will be good. And you find out what time works for you. Usually for me, I try to eat later in the day, in the evening, you know, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, and it seems to work pretty well for me. Sometimes I'll eat earlier, sometimes I'll eat later. And really, it's based on your own individual needs. You know, my mom's on a fast right now, and not a fast, but she does like 11 to 7, right? So that's more obtainable for her. So she tries to work in between that window. Other people do smaller windows. So I think whatever is good for you is something you could do. But I think fasting is all something we could do. If you guys have any questions, you guys can hit me up, message me on here. But I think fasting is a good way to do it, and just start, you know, with maybe just skipping breakfast. Like a good window you can start with is like 11 to 7 or 12 to 8. So maybe you just skip breakfast, start with lunch, and then as you feel better, maybe you push the time back. Maybe you go 12 to 7 or 1 to 8 or something, and then you push it back. Maybe you go like 1 to 7 or 2 to 7 or 2 to 6 or something, or you know, whatever you want. You start condensing it, or 6 to 8. You start finding a good window that works for you. And if you're training, you know, try to train then after you get done eating. You know, consume within that period of time. Maybe, you know, I've read studies that say you can consume food up to 24 hours after you train. But usually I try to eat a few hours after I train, maybe an hour, maybe right after I train, depending on how intense the workout is. But I try to base my training around fasting. Now, if you can't do that, some days I'll train early in the morning, like maybe, you know, 7 o'clock, but I might not break my fast till 5 o'clock. So I will just drink water throughout the day, stay in my fast. But then when I do break my fast, I will consume enough calories to make sure I get enough for my training. So if you are training, you feel like you need to consume right after you train, that's not necessarily true. I have tested it out, I've studied it. So you can, you know, just drink water, put a little salt in it. And like I said, as long as you're eating within a 24-hour window after you train, you're good. You want to consume food, you know, at some point, but it doesn't have to be in that 90-minute window that we're used to. So that's just my little information on nutrition, and it's fasting. And then we can go into diet, specific needs, different variables about that. But I think fasting's an easy principle we can all apply, just less consumption, and just drink water while you're fasting, and just add a little salt if it's much. And you can have tea or coffee, black tea, coffee, and there's some other stuff you can have, but check into it, read up on it. But thank you guys, that's just a small, quick video on fasting. Thank you guys, have a great, blessed, and prosperous day.